News at 10.
Big news for Grizz Nation. Bobby Hauck has been offered to take the helm of Grizz football pending the finalization of a few details. Now, there has been some confusion, though, as athletic director Ken Haslam has denied these reports. So it's a good thing that we have our sports director Sean Rainey here to clear it all up for us. Sean?
Yeah, and Bobby Hauck, he's going to be the next head coach at the University of Montana, trust me. And although Haslam is slow playing it and telling us otherwise, it's important to realize he said this in the past. Now, 3 years ago, Fox Sports first reported that Bob Stitt would be the Grizz head coach on December 12th, 2014. When the report came out, Haslam had this to say, quote, "To be honest, I haven't got anything I can announce right now. The job has not been offered to anybody. When the time is right, we'll certainly make an announcement. I know everybody is really antsy for a decision," end quote. But then, just 4 days later, on December 16th, UM named Stitt the Grizz head football coach. So I think what needs to be understood in this scenario is that until that name is signed on the dotted line and it's 100% final, Haslam is in a position where he can't really confirm these reports. It just doesn't do him any good, and we saw that in the hiring 3 years ago. Now, for a bit of history on Bobby Hauck and the road he traveled to get back to Missoula for the second time, we bring in SWX Montana's Ben Wyman. He's a big history buff, really good at Jeopardy, and dove into the history of Bobby and the Hauck family. Ben, how you doing?
Yeah, when we play Jeopardy, Sean just shuts down on the history topics because I love history. But if you like Montana sports history, and there's a lot of it, the Hauck family name is just one that keeps popping up. And when current Montana Athletic Director Kent Haslam began his coaching search 2 weeks ago, he wanted someone who would encompass the family and community values that Missoula is known for.
I want a coach that will grasp that and really understand what it's like to be the head coach of the University of Montana.
Montana, the Grizz, football. These are the lifeblood of the Hauck family, and it runs deep in the veins of the youngest son, Bobby Hauck. Born in Big Timber, Montana, the Hauck roots run deep in the Treasure State. Some would call them one of Montana's most important sports families. Bobby actually never played college football, though, but he ran track for the Grizz. He graduated from Montana and completed a grad degree at UCLA. The Hauck family did have a football player in the family, Bobby's older brother, Tim Hauck. He played defensive back for the Grizz and was the second player ever to wear the famous 37 jersey. Bobby began his coaching career at U of M as a defensive backs coach under Don Reed, and after stops at UCLA, Colorado, Washington, and Northern Arizona, Hauck was named the 33rd head coach of Montana in 2003.
Bobby was so organized, and he had literally lists of every assistant coach he was going to talk to and who had committed to him to maybe come here. He put on such a presentation that they had to sit back and think, this guy's serious. And he's probably going to be a candidate that we really didn't think he was going to be. And Bobby was just that much better than everybody else in the candidate pool.
The next 7 years for Montana would be one of the most successful stretches in program history. Hauck's Grizz teams won 7 straight Big Sky Conference titles and held a 5-2 record against rival Montana State. Hauck left Missoula in 2009 to become the head coach at UNLV, and he's been the special teams coordinator for San Diego State for the last 2 seasons. But the Grizz and Missoula have always been on his mind. He hoped to make his return in 2014, but now 3 years later, Bobby's back. And we all know how important the number 37 is to the Treasure State and to this program, so it's only fitting that Bobby Hauck of Big Timber, Montana, will become the 37th head coach in UM history. Pretty cool, Ange.
All right, thanks so much, Ben. Very interesting, that's for sure. Well, longtime Grizz fans and Missoula community members likely remember Hauck's tenure as one of championship appearances and also of controversy. 7 Big Sky championship titles in 7 seasons. It is a record Grizz fans can get behind, but one that helped launch NFL careers for some of Hauck's former players. 9 of Hauck's recruits during his tenure at Montana were drafted to NFL teams, including Croy Bierman, Mark Mariani, and Jordan Tripp. While his winning record cannot be ignored, neither can the troubles of the recruits he brought on board. The Missoulian laid out a timeline that cannot be overlooked. During Hauck's 7-year coaching tenure, a dozen of his players ran into trouble with the law, including a case in June 2007 when cornerback Jimmy Wilson was charged with shooting and killing a man. After 2 trials, he was acquitted. In November 2007, 3 Grizz football players were arrested for a home invasion and robbery near campus. And in 2008 of September, 3 players assaulted a student outside a dorm, leaving him with serious injuries. Houck faced scrutiny of his own after refusing to answer questions from reporters from the Montana Kaimin, where they pressed him for information about 2 players accused of assaulting a student at a party. Now, that story was picked up nationally, and Houck was criticized for his actions. One ESPN reporter nicknamed him, quote, the bum. Now, again, we don't have official confirmation from the university at this point, but just the information from our sources that he has been offered the job certainly has a whole lot of people talking. And we are learning more tonight about that and about the Missoula woman who started a petition against UM's hiring of Bobby Houck. Our Nicole Maharo talked to Lisa Davey, who started this petition. And Nicole, what did she have to tell you tonight?
Angela, Lisa Davey does intend to get at least 500 signatures for her petition. She says this is all for the interest of protecting the university's reputation and for the safety of the university and the community. Lisa Davey's petition started with this Facebook post. She says she was shocked that the university would ever consider Houck, and she quickly found out that she's not alone.
And so it became apparent that lots of people felt the same way that I felt. And that led to a discussion with some of the women in Missoula Rises about needing to be proactive to make our voice heard.
She posted her petition online urging UM to not hire Bobby Houck. She says the hire sends a terrible message to students, women, and the community. The petition goes on to say, quote, tell the university to set its sights high, no bar brawls, no breaking and entering, and no recruiting criminals, no to rape, no to Houck.
He certainly laid a culture down that wasn't healthy for Missoula or for the university.
Davey says that those feelings have been echoed by the faculty and administration from the university. They tell her they want to sign the petition but feel they can't.
I have had over 24 people from the university send me personal messages letting me know that they don't feel safe signing the petition, but that they support it and they agree with it.
With the several hundred signatures she does have, Davey did reach out to athletic director Kent Haslam.
I was really impressed with Kent's respectful and pretty rapid response to the email with the concerns on the petition and notifying him of all the signatures. He did, however, indicate that he thought people could grow and change, which I agree with him, but I think even if the coach has grown and changed, this brings the university back to a dark period in its history.
Bobby Houck will be the next head coach for the Grizz football team, and it's 2017. Just let that sink in for a bit. But is it the right move for the Grizz? Well, I guess time will tell. But of course, it's never too early for fans to give their input. So we asked you, is Bobby Houck a good hire? And here are the results. 65% of you saying, yes, he is. 35% not quite so sure. But the consensus among former players themselves, well, it's about the same as the fans. I spoke with former linebacker Jordan Tripp, who was recruited by Bobby and played for him his freshman year in 2009. Tripp is currently in Atlanta as he's a member of the Falcons, and he said he couldn't be more excited for his alma mater to hire Bobby back, and that Houck was one of the best coaches he's ever had, including those in the NFL.
As a player, I remember when Bobby Houck told us something, we believed it. I mean, we believed that we were going to get the job done. If he said that we're going to do something, he was going to tell us how we were going to do it, and we believed that it was going to get done. There was never any question that we weren't going to accomplish whatever task that we set out to do. We won the games that we were playing during the week. We knew on Saturday when we stepped on the field that we were going to win.
And on Saturdays, they sure did. 80-17 record in 7 seasons. Well, with the new coach in place, it gives some sense of direction for the incoming recruiting class. I checked in with a few of them to see if their status has changed after Bobby replaced Bob. Here are some of their responses. One recruit said, yep, still 100% committed in all caps. Mostly all of them very excited to become Grizzlies, despite the change, as you can see. Although, of course, when a new coach comes in, there's a worry that they may not honor the scholarship they were given by the previous staff. One recruit was a little nervous, but knew it would get all sorted out eventually. Recruiting coordinator Justin Green in a text told me all recruits are still committed, and they're excited for the class of 2018. And of course, everything one school does affects the other in Montana. So now let's go to Bozeman as Bobcat Nation reacts to the news of Bobby coming back to Montana.
I just don't know why he would revisit like a coaching position that he's already held. If I was him, I'd probably want to reach out and go to other schools and try a new coaching administration and whatnot.
I really haven't thought about it at all. It doesn't really affect me that much.
I mean, I was definitely surprised. I thought he was going for a higher level position. I mean, I thought he'd try to go in the ACC or something like that, try to go up higher. But, I mean, seeing him come back to UM, I guess it shouldn't be a huge shock. He has enough ties there.
Bobby was 5-2 against Montana State. That's it for sports. Ange, back on over to you.